Welcome back to the channel. So a few days ago, I made a video on MicroStrategy as to why there's an opportunity for it to go to 250 unless Bitcoin starts again trading in the mud, essentially. And we're seeing that today here as Bitcoin turned lower. I did get out of my MicroStrategy position just about 5-10 minutes ago, and it was trading at about 179 and change. So I did capture the move between 170 to 179 and a half. So that's not too much. Obviously, I wanted a lot more here, but I can't ignore the fact that Bitcoin is just trading so heavy here. We've established this before that Bitcoin has been lagging. Actually, as a matter of fact, look at the tech space. Bitcoin has lagged Nasdaq for some time now. MicroStrategy has lagged Bitcoin for some time now. I did think that, hey, if Bitcoin can have a bounce, then we could possibly see a bounce with MicroStrategy, even more so because we had all those shorts piling in last week, and that was working out really nicely. But today doesn't look too great. I also just released a video speaking about my thesis as to why for the next 2 weeks we can see the markets drop about 200-300 points on the SPX. So make sure you watch that as well. Since I made that video, I made that video right before the PCE data came out, I think at 950 or so. We initially saw a pop coming out of that data, but now we're trading lower. There's possibly a chance here that we might even have a reversal today, which would be a big deal if that's the case. If you look at Nasdaq here, Nasdaq is still holding up kind of fine here, but SPX has given up some of its gains, but still way too early in the day. But even then, what I didn't like going into today is that Bitcoin was weak out of the gate. It just traded lower all day long. We did have this little pop along with the equities, but the equities were doing way better earlier on. But Bitcoin started showing us weakness. MicroStrategy, on the other hand, did show us some strength in the early session. We could even see here how short it kind of followed Bitcoin throughout the overnight session here. But, it had a sizable balance during the cash session being, the 9:30 open of the equities. We almost went green on the day for MicroStrategy, while Bitcoin was still trading like a 1.5%, 2% from its previous day. So we did see that strength. Even right now, as you look at the chart here, we can see Bitcoin is trading way below the low that it put in about an hour ago, 2 hours ago. MicroStrategy just kind of touched under it. Maybe trying to recover a little bit here. So there is strength here, which is kind of what my video was based upon, but we can't see MicroStrategy go higher if Bitcoin is going to be trading poorly. And with my bias being that the markets are going to trade lower over the subsequent weeks, it's really difficult for me to be bullish on Bitcoin, unfortunately. It's just we have had times when Bitcoin has traded higher and the indices have traded lower, but it happens very, very rarely. Now, I could be wrong about all of this, and by close today, the markets, all of them, could essentially trade higher and close higher. And maybe that is the case, and maybe me selling out of MicroStrategy here at 179 and change was the wrong move. But I'm not entirely sure about that. I think as the markets continue to move higher here, and have moved higher, and Bitcoin just hasn't really done much, it just kind of points to the idea that maybe we're not done flushing out people. Normally when a low is being made in this kind of crash environment here for Bitcoin, we want to see a very quick V-shape, not what's happening right here. We want to make sure that almost practically every single seller, every single, better off, I don't want to call them paper hands, but anyone that kind of gets flushed out of their positions, whether it's longs or the holdings, they're out of it. And then from that point on, there isn't selling pressure for at least the first week or two and so forth, but we're not seeing that. We're having a tough time climbing out of here as we look here. And if the markets turn lower here, as we kind of still see Nasdaq weakening here, it doesn't bode well for Bitcoin. We might have to go lower. Now, with that being said, there's still an argument to be made that MicroStrategy can still hold on to the lows that it made that prior week. So that is something I'll be looking at. If Bitcoin goes lower, so listen, if you're a MicroStrategy holder here, what I want to be looking at is I want to see Bitcoin go lower here. Well, I guess, obviously I have no position now, so I have a different perspective on the market. But if Bitcoin were to go lower here, and let's say MicroStrategy continues to hold this, let's say 165 range, as Bitcoin goes below 80,000, that is a great sign. That is an environment I want to be looking at, because then possibly a few weeks from now, there's a great chance to go a bit more leveraged into MicroStrategy if we start seeing more proof that there's relative strength in MicroStrategy. Because for the longest time, we've been seeing relative weakness, so we want that to flip. We want to see relative strength. The best way to see relative strength at this point in time is for Bitcoin to trade lower and for MicroStrategy to hold on a little bit better. It always trades at some form of a leverage compared to Bitcoin. We can see, I mean, it is down more than Bitcoin for the day. But, sometimes we see as much as like 2x, that Bitcoin is down, 2%, MicroStrategy would be down 4%, and so on. But I just wanted to give you guys an update on my MicroStrategy position. So unfortunately, I couldn't hold it for as long as I wanted to, strictly because Bitcoin is simply not acting that great as it begins to make its possible leg lower. Now, again, maybe we'll put a lower high here, and maybe we'll just keep trending up higher. Maybe that's the case, but because I'm just kind of biased negative on the equities for the subsequent 2 weeks, it's hard for me to keep risk on at this point in time. So that's my update there. Thank you guys for watching. Till next time.